To begin this tutorial, go to the Shanks tab and select the Cathedral command. Then, to better visualize the model, change the display mode to Shaded. To do this, press Shift and click on the display mode icon at the bottom of the viewport. This way, Shaded mode will be applied to all viewports. Next, in the outliner, select Edit without choosing any preset. Change the region to Spain and set the finger size to 14. Now, let's adjust the shank parameters. Set the top width to 1.5 millimeters, the top height to 1.3 millimeters, and the bottom width to 3 millimeters. Adjust the viewports and then go to the Cathedral options. Set the width to 11.31 millimeters, the height to 0.31 millimeters, and finally, change the angle to 121 degrees. This defines the overall shape of our shank. As we can see, the bridge extends beyond the shank, but that's fine. We'll only use it as a reference. Set the thickness to 1 millimeter, so we'll have the correct reference distance for creating the setting. Once all parameters are ready, simply click Accept. Next, go to the Diamond tab and select Studio command. Create a princess cut gem of 1 carat and add it by pressing Add. Confirm the command. From the perspective view, draw a horizontal line across the bridge to take a reference center for positioning the gem. Once that line is created, draw another line by right-clicking to repeat the last command vertically from the front view with a height of 0.5 millimeters. Now, select the gem and type Move in the command bar. With the OSNAP options active, pick the bottom vertex of the gem, and from the right view, position it at the highest point of the curve you just created. This way, the gem will be positioned 0.5 millimeters above the bridge. You can now delete the reference curves. Next, go again to the Diamond tab and create another gem. This time, a trillion cut of 0.4 carats. And add it to the viewport. Select the gem and use the gumball to rotate it -90 degrees so it points to one of the sides. From the front view, move the gem roughly into place, to the left of the central gem. Edit it and scale it down to 0.30 so it fits better with the model. Position it by eye, keeping a similar distance between the shank and the gem, as shown in the video. Now, create a reference line to visualize the gem's alignment. Use the Line command from the Curve tab and draw the line using the central gem as a reference. Then, rotate the side gem so that its angle matches the curve you've just drawn. You can use the gumball in object mode to adjust the position precisely, ensuring equal spacing between the gem and the shank. Now, to continue, go to the Curve tab and use the Duplicate Edge command to duplicate a few edges needed to build the prongs. The first edge will be this one, the second one this, and the third will be the tip at the end of the side gem. You can switch to a different layer, so the edges are generated directly in that layer. Right-click to confirm the edge creation. As we can see, we now have 3 edges colored pink, matching the layer color. Select the first edge created and move it using the gumball, roughly as shown in the video. Remember, this is an organic model, so exact measurements aren't required. The goal is to keep harmony between the elements. Now, look at the other gem. From the top view, it's not centered because when we rotated it, its pivot wasn't aligned with the center of our working area. To fix this, select both edges of that gem and the gem itself. From the right view, type Move. Select the bottom vertex of the gem, and with Grid Snap active, press Shift to move it to the same height, but now centered along the axis. This way, the gem is correctly centered together with its edges. Next, reposition the edges for this gem as well, leaving them roughly at the same relative distance from the arm of the cathedral. Go to the Curve tab and use the Blend command to connect one edge to another. In the Blend panel, keep the continuity option set to tangent. Then select both curve control points and, while holding Shift, move them simultaneously. Use the bridge as a reference, and when the curve crosses the center of the bridge, it will be in the correct position. Once that curve is done, select it and use the Rebuild command to reconstruct it. It's important to set the number of points to 5 and disable the Preserve Tangent Directions option if it's active. Keep only Delete Input enabled to avoid creating a copy, then click OK. Now edit a few control points of the curve. For example, the lower point. Move it inward, referencing the right view and the bridge, so it sits roughly halfway between the end of the bridge and the shank. As you can see, the curve is now much more organic and has a smooth curvature. Select the joining curve and the two side edges and use the Join command to create a single curve. Now go to the Solid tab and use the Pipe command. In the command bar, make sure Diameter mode is active. Set the output to sub-D and the cap to round. Create the pipe with a diameter of 1 mm. You can move it to the metal layer. This will be the first prong. If it looks too far from the gem, it means one of the edges was moved too far. To fix this, select the joined curve and explode it to separate the parts. Delete the blended curve and reposition the edge closer to the gem. Then, blend again with tangent continuity, adjust the control points, rebuild with 5 points, and repeat the previous adjustments. Join them again and create another pipe of 1 mm. Now the prong properly holds the gem. To finish this setting, we'll go to the Sub-D tab and use the Reflect command. In the command bar, select the X-axis and then use the Flip option so that the arrows point toward the prong we want to mirror. Simply press Enter. To continue with our design, we'll move the shank to another layer and hide it. Then go to the Shanks tab and use the Curve command. Since we already have the Spanish finger size set to 14, simply press Accept to generate the curve, which we'll use as a reference. Next, go to the Curve tab and use the Offset command. Select the curve we just created and, in the command bar, type 0.5 mm. Create the offset from the front view, moving it outward. We'll also move the prongs to another layer and hide them. Now, from the top view, move the remaining edge we need to position. As you can see, it sits between the two side gems. Use the Blend command and select that edge together with the offset curve. From the front view, we can see that one of the curve points isn't oriented correctly. Simply click Flip. Identify which point is inverted, in this case, number 2, and we'll see how it automatically aligns. Now, select the positioning curve on the other end and move it so that the lower part nearly touches the gem. Next, show the setting. Select the curve and use the Rebuild command. Set it to 5 points with Delete Input enabled and press OK. From the perspective view, you can hide the prongs again to better select the control points. Select the lower point, then show the prongs again, and from the right view, using the gumball, move that point until the blue arrow of the gumball appears centered over the setting. Also adjust the next point of the curve, as shown in the video, moving it until it crosses the gem visible from the right view. Or you can also use the center of the prong as a reference. Just like before, select the curve and the edge and use the join command to merge them. First, delete the junction point between the edge and the blended curve. Then select it again and run the pipe command. Same as before, with diameter mode active, output set to sub-D, cap set to round, and a diameter of 1 millimeter. Now go to the sub-D tab and use the reflect command. Select the x-axis, and now we have our second setting completed. Finally, we can show the shank again. Select it and edit it. Under the bridge options, disable it to clean up the geometry. Once the bridge option is disabled, simply accept the command. Now we'll adjust a few details of the prongs. To do this, use the selection filter for edges. Select the edges you want to edit and activate the soft transform command. This allows you to create an area of influence that smoothly affects nearby geometry, letting you make soft adjustments without creating hard edges. Then, with the help of the gumball, move the prong slightly inward. Make sure you're editing the light side of the prong, because with the reflect command active, only the light side can be edited. Adjust the other prong as well, giving it a shape that follows the curvature of the ring. This helps fit the model properly to the selected size. Once the shape looks good, we'll refine the prong tips to create a claw-like finish. First, delete any unnecessary edges to get a smoother surface. Then, click Split in the upper left toolbar. In the command bar, enable the Edge Loop option. This allows you to double-click to select an edge loop where you want to cut. Now we've separated the top of the prong and can edit it individually. Move it slightly upward so it rises above the fillet area, giving us enough room for editing. Next, select the extracted part and click the small sphere on the gumball to choose Relocate. From the perspective view, select the point that's approximately centered with the gem. This will be the pivot point for rotation. Then, click on the back of the object and finally select the left side. This repositions the gumball so we can rotate properly around the gem. Rotate it until it matches the position shown in the video. Then change the selection mode to Faces, but before scaling, make sure to deactivate Soft Transform. Click on it with nothing selected to turn it off. Now select the faces and scale them down slightly to form a tapered tip. Switch the gumball alignment to Object Mode and move it upward. Adjust the scale again to achieve a sharper, claw-like end. Next, position, rotate, and fine-tune the tip until it resembles a clean prong claw. When satisfied, change the selection mode back to Edge, select the top edge, and activate the Bridge command. Select the prong's edge loop. In the Bridge options, set segments to 2 and confirm. Delete the remaining top edge and adjust the other edge to create a smooth, organic shape. If the rotation isn't perfect, this is the right moment to correct it. Refine all the small details until you're happy with the prong's organic form. Then, select the prong and go to the Reflect command again. Activate it along the x-axis, making sure the arrows point toward the prong you want to mirror and press Enter. Now the other side is automatically created. Repeat the same process for the other prongs. Remove extra edges. Select the edge loop, and this time use Insert Edge to add one more loop where we'll cut. Use Split with Edge Loop again, and follow the same steps. Move, rotate, scale the tip toward the gem, and form the claw. Once the result looks right, connect it with a bridge, smooth out the transitions, and you'll have a clean, organic setting. After completing all the prongs, select them all and use Mirror. Type Mirror in the command bar, then type 0 and press Enter to set the mirror center on the main axis. While holding Shift, click a point at the top area to create the correct mirror. Do the same for the other prong and also for the gem. Now the model is almost finished. As a final detail, we'll add supports under the gems to hold them more securely. For this, use the Basket command. Select the central gem and activate Basket. Without selecting any preset, click Edit and choose the Without Prongs option. This way, only the rail will be created. Enter the rail options and, for the upper rail, set the height to 1.70 millimeters. Change the shape to Custom, and from the Assets, select 003. Adjust the parameters until the support is to your liking. I'll leave the parameters we used for this tutorial. Once we have the first support, we can copy it to the other gemstones using Apply Style. Afterwards, we can adjust the parameters for those gemstones as well. Open their settings and modify the width, height, undergirdle, and slider to fit the new gem size. Once it looks right, use Apply Style to copy this basket and apply it to the last gem. Finally, select all gems, apply the cutters, and perform a Boolean difference. And that's it. The setting is complete and ready for rendering. We'll provide a reference render, but don't hesitate to share yours with us.